finally getting a little cooler here in Georgia, especially in the mornings and at night. So it's getting to be a lot easier to work on the car in the garage. Today's Labor Day too, so I have the whole day off. If you remember, a couple videos ago, we made this whole structure. So we made this structure here. Since then, I have drilled some holes in it, drilled some big holes in it. And I also got the quarter panels riv nutted on, actually, so they're here permanently. I put the trunk on. Amazingly, these quarter panels are actually strong enough to hold the trunk hinges, so I was able to kind of make a bracket to sit behind here, and actually it holds it up just fine. Got the tail lights in. A couple days ago, designed these up on the computer, went over to Night Owl and they cut them out for me on the plasma cutter. And I just welded some nuts to them. Those giant holes in the kind of rear structure that I made are so the nuts can sit inside there. And I'm gonna weld the bottom plate there, and then the top plate will be the bracket for the bash bar. And it won't stay in there on its own, I guess. This bash bar here, that'll go from here to here, is regulated by Formula D. Even the size of these bolts are spec'd by Formula D. So these have to be 3/8 inch, I think grade 5 minimum bolts. And then a 1-inch tube will come out here to hold the bumper up. Over here, we got some other brackets made the other day. These will go like here or here or somewhere around here to hold a Injuku Racing ripoff of a side bash bar. So I'm basically going to copy them exactly. And you've probably seen their side bash bars on Adam LZ's car, or Kevin Lawrence's car, or Nate Hamilton's car. But it's the best design I think I've seen out of anybody, and I'm going to blatantly copy it. Unfortunately, I've already made a terrible discovery this morning, and I borrowed a 1-inch die from my friend James. He's the guy that owns Night Owl, and I wanted to use it on my bender at my house while he was away on vacation for Labor Day. And turns out he has a Model 3 bender and I have a Model 32. And the Model 32, wow, it's dark in here with the sun, there we go. The Model 32 has a bigger center pin. So you cannot use Model 3 dies on a Model 32 bender. So I'm not going to be able to bend up that 1-inch tube like I wanted today, unless by some happenstance he happens to be at the shop and I can go over there and do it. I am going to cut the tube out and mark it and everything so that I can bend it. But unfortunately, likely that bumper bar that I want to make, it won't be able to be finished. But I can bend 1.5-inch tube here, so I'll make the bash bars first for the side. I'm going to get the bumper mocked up and see how much room I have inside there. Then start making stuff. I just finished welding up the tabs and brackets for all the bash bars. I'll show you right here. So, maybe easier to see from down here. So actually, this bracket's already on here. These bolts are bolted on here, but I welded the plate behind there with the nuts welded on the back for the bash bar to come out from here and land up here somewhere. Then go across the back and then down to that guy. So that guy and that guy are the same. And those are the bolt-on plates for the, I'm going to call it the bumper bar from now on. Up here you can see I've tacked these on. These are going to hold the bar for the side impact bar. So I'll call this one the side impact bar. And this is kind of going to be shaped just like Injuku Racing does it. A kind of big 180-degree tube and a 45-degree tube back down to here. So these are kind of just tacked on for now in case I have to like move them a little bit because the clearances are kind of tight. They got to be around the bar and they have to be straight. But the idea is that if I get in such a big impact that it crushes this side impact bar, these are just kind of welded on together. So it'll crush the side impact bar, and then a bigger impact would like bend these. I can just cut this thing off and weld a new one on, put a new bar on. And then if we get any further into it, like into this bar or something, then we're probably dealing with a pretty major crash. So I think this is the best way to set it up. A lot of people use these kind of like pre-made brackets that this is all one piece, but those are really hard to cut off and replace. So I think this is a good way to do it. Alright, so I got the rear bumper mocked up here. Sorry for the noise, guys. It's Labor Day, so a bunch of my neighbors are mowing their lawns. But bumper's all mocked up. I just have it sitting there with some jack stands and tape. And I did that to figure out how much space I have in here. So the bar is going to start here and kind of go out like that. And there is a ton of room here. Like from frame rail to the inside of that bumper is like a lot. I mean 14, 15 inches there. But we don't have to go all the way out to the bumper because we're actually not going to use this bar to hold the bumper up since we have that center bar that'll be over here. So really we're going to go from this center bolt here. And the center of that bolt is basically on 9, what it looks like in the camera at least. And I have a 4.5 inch radius die for my 1.5 inch tube, which means if we make a 180 degree bend and we drill a hole in the center of the tube, the other center of the tube will be right there. So we'll have some kind of area for the bumper to crush without hitting the tube. So that'll just be kind of setting the car against a wall or just barely tapping a wall. Then if we really get into a wall, it'll crush this tube. And then if we really get into a wall, we'll have to do some major work. But that's a bigger accident than this is built for. So the end of that tube will be about 3/4 of an inch further than that. I think that's a pretty good spot to sit. And I'm going to go ahead and bend to 180 degree bend up. And I'm going to leave quite a bit of legs on it, so because I don't know how far out this way it's going to have to be. Pretty far actually. Because we want it near the back bumper, but not quite all the way there. So maybe that'll be 11 inches or something like that, maybe 10 inches, somewhere around there. So we're going to leave some legs on it. This side we'll bend up this 180 degrees and then another 45 for right here. And we'll see how that'll work after the 180s are bent up. Alright guys, so a little bit change of plans today. I had some friends come over that needed help with their car, so I helped them out basically all day. And I only worked on my car a little bit, so we'll have to continue this video tomorrow. But I did end up getting the bumper support bar bent up, so I was able to go use the other tube bender with the correct size, I guess middle shank or whatever it's called. And I went over there, bent that up, and got it all tacked onto the car. So check it out. So you can see it's very simple. So the idea was for it to be very simple, minimal bends. I just put 2 90s in here, right here and right here. Actually, I did make it a little too wide, but I just don't care, guys. It's about a 1/2 inch off on either side, but I think it's all right. And I welded that in. It's up at an angle. Up at an angle to hold the bumper up in the middle. So the bumper just sits like right on top here. And I don't know how I'll attach it over here yet, but I'll figure out something probably on the inside of this fender. And yeah, not bad. Tomorrow we'll finish up doing these bars and stuff. I think I already showed you this all tacked up and everything. But anywho, tomorrow I'll mock these up and bend these tubes and bolt them in. So no welding tomorrow, but lots of cutting and grinding. Hey guys, so actually I've been a horrible vlogger, and it's actually been several days since I made the first part of this video. So I'm in different clothes, my hair looks a little different, but I did finish the tube rear. I just had a lot of stuff going on between, so I wasn't able to film. But let me show you how the tube rear came out and what I ended up doing. So the first thing I did was I made this cardboard template. Very easy. I made it fit just inside the rear bumpers, so it's like 3 inches off the inside of the rear bumpers, like in this area and also in this area. Because if I was in a crash, I want there to be some give before I crush it, so every wall ride doesn't crush this bar. Then, I made the bar out of metal. You can see there. Pretty easy bar to make. Just drilled a couple holes, a 180 and a 60, and I was good to go. Looks pretty good from the outside. And complete ripoff of Enjuku Racing, obviously. I looked at a bunch of different designs, and this one seemed to be the best. I really like it. It's thin wall tubing. So this is 065 wall. And the idea is that if you hit here, actually this bend will crush. So I hope that's what really happens, but we'll see. Bumper bar's done. This bar in the center basically just holds the bumper up. So bolts on there. Bumper rides across the top of this, and then of course we got another one on the other side, so another side impact bar right there. I also think I'm going to cut these 2F fenders. I think I'm going to cut them basically right after the taillights, or maybe further in like here. On that side and on this side, you can see right now they connect in the middle. They're super nice product. But I think I'm going to cut them at the taillights after I make the supports for them, because I don't want an impact on this side to transfer through here and, you know, do something to this side, and vice versa. I don't want an impact from this side to transfer the force through here and ruin this one. So I think I'm going to make some supports from in here to the bash bar, or the tube frame, and cut this center section out. Another thing that's really amazing about these fenders is I can actually bolt the trunk hinges to it. So obviously there wasn't any there. I kind of, well, maybe I can show you guys. Ooh, as we go underneath here, let's see if we can see it. I hope you guys can see it. I'll have to check on the software. But I just made a little plate, welded a couple nuts to it, drilled some holes, and put these through here, and it holds the trunk up just fine. This is the full weight stock trunk, so pretty good. Alright guys, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. I'll keep making videos for you guys. This weekend, LS Fest is coming up, so look out for an LS Fest video, and I'll see you then.